Okay, the next one we can look at is going to be our credit screen. This one's going to be pretty similar to the instructions that we wrote. That we're just simply doing some labels and putting information inside of there. So let's double click on our screen for the credits. We've got the script loaded up. We're good on that one. And let's load up our screen for the credit here. Okay, and the easiest thing here is the screen load. We can pretty much take all of this functionality that we built in right here, making a group, making a box, putting in the labels, and then ending that group. Let's take that one, and let's just paste that guy right in here. And inside of here, let's go ahead and go to top. We'll write the right, little of the proper formatting at the top. We'll call this our credit script. And do we have any variables? We could put some variables, and we'll actually play with that in just a little bit. We'll put some in that we could do in the inspector. And we'll go on down to our onGUI function. And inside this onGUI function, just like from before, we're going to be centering a box on the screen. And the other one worked really well about subtracting the 100 at the center. And then making the box 200. Actually, that's going to be pretty close. We want to change up instead of the instructions. Let's do credit. And again, I would definitely emphasize, don't just copy paste. This is a great opportunity just to retype all of this information. You're going to get so much more familiar with these words and setting this up and not having to think twice about what you're doing, just instinctively programming in these elements. So here we've got the GUI box, and then on this GUI box we're going to be doing what? We're going to be putting in some labels, and the labels, this is just an opportunity for us to actually say who made this. So let's say we have a designer. We could call him, I guess, myself, since this is who's doing it. For this one we could call him our artist. And if you're seeing something similar, yes, this is where you get to say this was a one-man game. Let's say we've got software. Let's go ahead and even these out, and it'll make it a little bit easier to find out how this is going to appear when we get it. So we'll say one right there. And then let's go ahead and go in, and we're going to give ourselves a little more space. The 1030, we're going to go ahead and go, let's say about 40 down. And we're going to need a little more space left and right, so we're going to at least 200. Not quite 2,000. There we go. And how far do we want to drop down? Let's drop down from here about 50 artists plus over. We'll go about 80. And then from 50, 80, let's go about 110. And let's kind of copy this guy. And how many others we've got? Say software, and we've also going to have to do something for level design. So let's throw in some level design. So we've got somebody, D-E-S-I-G-N. Let's spell that right. There we go. We've got our designer, we've got our artist, we've got our software engineer, and we've got our level design. So with that in mind, we'll say level designer. That sounds better. And then you can give credit to the people who actually work on that project with you, just to make sure that everybody gets recognized. So this will give us some space, and let's not overlap these guys. Let's see, that's going to put us at about 140. And that's going to put us at, let's say we're 40, if we're going 50, let's go 70. And let's set this one to 100. And let's set this one to 130. There we go. We end our group. And the one thing that we could do, we could end our group here, or we could actually add in a couple buttons. When you're on this screen, you may want to actually go back to the main menu. So let's give ourselves a button, basically a back button. So we'll go down a couple. We'll add buttons here. And we'll change up our information here. We'll give credits for the names of the creators. And our add button. Let's do a button. If you remember, if we're going to check for the button, we're going to set it, we're going to wrap it up into a conditional statement. So we're going to say if, and GUI.button. And inside of that button, we're going to be checking, setting up our rectangle. And inside of a rectangle, we're going to find the position for it. And if we look at it, we are set up. We want to move it probably over a little bit because we don't want to quite go as far. So let's say somewhere around 60. And over at least about 170, 175 maybe. And we'll go down, we'll go over and down, let's say about 80. Down about 30 should do it. Okay, let's try that. We'll see how that one works. And let's see what we're going to put on this button. We'll say back, B-A-C-K. Nice and simple. And where are we going back to? This is going to be our main menu. So we're doing another application load level main menu. So here we go. Load level. And inside of here we can fill this out with our screen main menu. End it with a semicolon. And we'll say, take us back to the start. There we go. And that is going to do it for this script. We'll give it a shot, see how it works. So let's go ahead and just hit play. And wait a second, we do have some errors. So let's see what we can do to fix some of those errors. Looks like we've got some just typo errors in here. And if we go back up, we can see that we need an additional parentheses there. Let's save that. And that gets rid of the errors. Let's hit play. And on play, we've got the credits, we've got the information, a little bit offset here. We can correct that just a little bit. And we get down here to the back button, and it looks like we might even want to raise that up just a little bit. Looks like we're a little bit low on that one. So let's go down here to the back button. We're set up at 60, 175, 80, and 30. Let's try that at something a little bit different. And let's give that a shot and see what we've got. There we go. Got about the same spacing top and bottom there. And we've got the back button. We should be able to go ahead and just click on the back. Takes us right back to the main menu. There we go. Click on credits. Takes us to the credits and back. So we're looking good. Start game works. The credit works. The exit. We'll exit this out when we actually build this out. And the home page loads up the website here. So it actually does load up the URL, just the way we've got it set up. Alright, so our main menu screen is looking pretty good. The only other things that we haven't done yet is we haven't tied in our win-loss screens. So we want to go ahead and tie those in so that if we meet a certain condition, we win. And if we don't meet a certain condition, then we lose. So we'll look at that next.